And I think we're live. Hey, folks, how's everybody doing on this frosty Tuesday evening? At least very frosty in Toronto. We got about 2 feet of snow here yesterday, and we all dug out, so it's been pretty crappy. But anyways, I'd like to welcome Broken Chains Jimmy, who's in a much
Hey,
warmer place. How are you, Jimmy?
good, my brother. I'm very good.
Cool, man. Cool. So you've been posting some vids of your band. You know, what I was gonna say to you that you're the band name that you have Undercover.
Yeah,
I used to be in a band called Undercover about 4 years ago.
well, as you know, and everyone else knows, that choosing a band name is probably the hardest thing
Yeah,
ever, because no one can agree, and each bandmate thinks that their name is the best.
yeah.
So we put a bunch of names in the hat, and I don't know who even thought of it. I think the bass player Keith decided to go with Undercover because we're a cover band, and
Yeah,
I came up with this cool logo, and he's like, "Yeah, that's really cool." So all four of us were on board, except the singer is new to the band, so we were
right.
undercover before he came in, and so he's only been with us, I think, for like 2 months.
Mhm.
But I only moved here in June, so within 1 month of living here, I already started my own band, which is
That's amazing. Just to
yeah.
find the guys for one.
Oh, and what? Well, I'm in South Carolina, so being in my community, I think there are about 600 homes. So because there's 600 homes, we have our own Facebook group, like any type of Facebook group.
Right.
So I'm a 47-year-old father. I'm not a professional guitar player, but I want to have a good time. So I'm looking for a bass player, a drummer, and a singer.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you're a father and a parent and you want to just play once, twice a month or whatever, I'm your man. So I must have got about 20 people that jumped on it. And then
Wow.
the bass player was the first guy to answer the ad, and I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So I was like, well, and if you do know how to play, let's do it. So I found Keith, the bass player, who actually is a guitar player. He could play like Satriani and Van Halen, but he told me when we joined the band that he wants to play bass. So I'm like, all right, man, that works for me because I don't have too many basses.
Right.
And then the singer, he lives in the community. This guy Adam, but he was young. I'm 47. He was 35. And for instance, I said, "Let's play Firewoman by the Cult." He's like, "Who's the Cult?" So our musical influences were a little different.
Yeah.
And then the drummer didn't show up for the first rehearsal, so we played Crazy Train with the click.
Well, it's like we.
Uh,
Oh,
did
there
I
you go. Ah,
did I disappear?
you disappeared for a minute. Yeah. You were saying
Uh,
crazy. You played Crazy Train. It's last.
we played Crazy Train with a click track drum beat, and Scott, who is the drummer now, saw the video that I posted, and he's like, "Man, I play the drums. I've known you forever on Facebook, and I live in the Carolinas. If you want, I'll join the band." So, boom, he came in, and that was the end of the mix.
That's amazing. Let me just say hello to some of the people that we got in the chat here. We got 22 people right now. We got Mr. Jason Wade, buddy. How are you? Rick Hefner is here. Nice to see you. Brian Fingerless Guitar. Hey, man. Quentin James. Quentin is in the house. Got Todd Flowers, Lefty Mike. Brian Cote. Guitar Pit. Long time no see, y'all. Hey, Guitar Pit. How are you, man? Let me just refresh this real quick. Showman Blues is here. Thrash Metal. Okay, well, let me start here again. Brian Cote, Guitar Pit. Okay, Dry Heat. Hey, man. Nice to see you too. Hello, Mr. David Ennis is here. Todd Flowers, Thrash Metal. How's it going? Showman Blues. Brad Miller, a 64 T-Bird. Yeah, beautiful collection of guitars. We're going to get into all that. They have the legendary guitar room. That's right, Guitar Pick. Yeah. Who else we got? Who else we got? Oh, ChickNGuitars. Hey, how are you? Buck Lester, nice to see you. HK, hey man. Janice, nice to see you, Janice. Han 36 Solo, Ivan Carter. Hey everybody, welcome everybody for popping in. So again, if you're popping in late, we got Mr. Broken Chains himself. Jimmy is with us. If you've got questions for Jimmy, Jimmy is unable to see the chat, but I can see the chat. So if you've got questions for him, easiest way for me to catch him is just please put at Guitar Hack, and I will pass those along. All right, cool. Yeah, man, it's, you know what? It's amazing that you put a band together, A, that quick, and B, that you didn't go through like a million players, because that is such a challenge. You know, I mean, and you're in a, like you were saying, like a smaller community. Like I live in Toronto, the GTA. There's like, I don't know how many millions of people, and believe it or not, I have a harder time than what you described finding players. It's
Right.
insane how hard it is.
I'm not in a small community. Just my house is like a
Oh,
gated.
okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm in Charlotte, which is I think the 8th largest city in the U.S. or something like
Oh, okay.
that.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
So luckily, I didn't have to go outside of these houses. So I
Right.
could walk.
Well,
I could
yeah.
walk to my bandmates. I could walk to their house, which is even crazier. And I never met them before in my life. But people are musicians, and they secretly have a guitar, and they're secretly playing in their room. And then when they have the opportunity to deal with a normal guy that's not some dirtbag or something,
Well, that's it, right?
you know, it's awesome. And then when we're done playing, we have a few beers, we listen to the stuff that we did,
Yeah.
and listen to all the screw ups and have a good laugh, So, but our goal is to have our first gig, and hopefully that will be, by March. I remember hearing you saying that in the wintertime you shut down and you don't even gig. So,
Well,
hopefully in the spring, we'll be ready, because we need at least 30 tunes to get this going. We're close.
30 tunes for me is 2 sets.
Yeah.
I can't gig. I mean, on an average gig, I'm playing around 45 songs.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it takes a long time, and because I don't know, I think it depends on where you're at, whatever. But typical bars, usually we're playing 3 sets, and we're
Right.
usually starting like it's 8:30 to 1:30, or sometimes it's 9 to 2 a.m. So
Okay.
we're going up and playing like basically an hour, and then like 15, 20 minutes off, and then an hour, then 15. So at the end of it, you're doing 45 songs, because it's usually about 15-minute sets. And then you always have sort of in your back pocket, in case there's anybody still around at the end of the night and they want to hear the odd one or two, the encores, if you will, you throw those out. So really you're looking at between 45 and 50. What you're describing, you got 2 solid sets there.
Right. Yeah, we a good friend of mine is in a band, and we just saw him play. They did 3 sets of 10 tunes and they were done.
Wow.
They
I'd love to get
started
away with that.
playing at, I think, 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock till maybe 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I can't do that here. So, oh, I couldn't get away. I'd love to get away with that. That'd be awesome.
yeah. If that's how we pull it off, then that'll be great. Because otherwise, I have to learn 10 more tunes, and it's
Yeah.
not that I can't, because I think I played over 400 covers or something. But
Yeah.
I don't remember any of them. So if I played, I don't know, some Dawkins song tomorrow, I wouldn't remember it today, So
Right.
the
You got
songs
to beat
I
it to
have
death.
on the list, every day I go over them, because otherwise I'm going to forget. One minuscule note when you're the only guitar player could be, crucial. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and that's another thing too. A lot of guys want to have, or people always tell a 4-piece band, oh, you should get another guitar player. But, to be the only guitar player and to have your own rules is just so much easier than another guy's tone and, you know, fighting over solos. And so if there's a song, a Guns N' Roses song, I'll take the best of Slash and the best of Izzy and make it one, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm the only guitar player, which it's not easy to do, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally get that because like I play in a few different bands, and the band that I play a lot of the shows with, well, all the shows with at this point, is a two-guitar band. And the band that I played with, I put a clip, well, the one we were talking about before, that clip I put up yesterday.
Right.
I'm the only guitar player, and I would much rather do that. Because when you're the only guitar player, you know, it's more work, like you say, but you're controlling the landscape, so to speak. You know what I mean? You don't have to, like you say, you're not there. There's no volume wars or any of that, and you know, you're the guy holding the paintbrush. You know what I mean? Instead of sharing it with somebody else, it just makes life so much easier. You know?
One good thing is that the singer plays guitar and bass, and the bass player plays guitar and bass and sings.
Right.
So we're doing Everlong, and
you need two guys for that, for sure.
Yeah, the singer's gonna play guitar. I'm sorry, the singer's playing bass. The bass player's singing and playing the guitar. So it's not like I have to fight with a strange guy because we're already
Yeah.
You know? And it's so much less stress too to have another guitar player, because if you mess up, you got another guy that's already playing. But it's not easy to be the only guy, but I do prefer being the only guy, just so I'm not battling, you know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing is you'll be a much better player being the only guy. You'll develop way, way better.
Yeah.
If you're the only guy.
I only started this in 2016. Before that, I had 10 guitars and played maybe once a week for an hour, if best. But I met a parent on the soccer field who was a drummer, and we decided to join a band in New York, and that just snowballed what you see behind me, you know? So
yeah, we're going to get into that in a minute. I just wanted to say hello to some of the more of the people that popped in, because we got 35 people in here now. And I want to make sure that I don't miss anyone. I'm just going up here real quick. See who else popped in. Oh, Jamal is here. Hey, Jamal. Nice to see you. Old Guys Guitar Vlog. Hey, man. R2R3. How's it going, buddy?
R2.
Yeah, R2 is here. Yep. The Shred Meister. Charles Green. How are you, man? Nice to see you. Buck Lester. 45 songs. Wow, I only know 3. And actually, just before we started this, I was going through. I'm gonna be doing "Tie Your Mother Down" by Queen, so I was just learning that solo right before we came on. Oh, nice. Queen B is here. That's my wife.
But what's nice about your channel and other people's channels that go live is that I met all these YouTubers now that when they post a video and I get a notification, I'm there for them. And they're, you know, watching my stuff, and without making videos and communicating with other YouTubers, it's just, you know, you don't get that rush that you do, you know. So if these guys are around and I look at the comments when we're off the air, I usually subscribe to them all, because it's nice to be a new player that you never seen before. Like R2, you know, I only met R2 recently, and whenever he plays, I'm like, man, this guy is tearing it up, you know?
Yeah. So that's the beauty of it, right? Like, there's so many, you know, everybody's coming from a different place and different levels, but everybody's got something to offer and something to share, you know? Like, I mean, if I got technical questions about, you know, have you tried this, or what should I do about that, or whatever, like, I just went through a thing where, you know, anybody that watches my channel knows my whole P90s dilemma, which is they sound great, but they're noisy as hell.
Yeah.
So somebody was, I was just asking about noise gates, because I've never used one in my life, and then all these, you know, recommendations were coming up. So I went and bought one on Saturday this past weekend, put it on my board. I did a quick first impression. I didn't really like it, actually. It wasn't quite doing what I wanted. But then I took it to that rehearsal and I used it, and it worked amazingly. So there you go. So, you know, and I wouldn't have known about that particular brand. It just saves me so much time. You know, here's the best ones, and go out and grab one. We got What's Up Doc is here. Nice to see you. Who else we got?
Actually has P90s that are throwing out output as high as a regular humbucker. You know, if you ever wanted to swap them.
No, I really like the sound of those pickups, man. Michael Rendon is here. Sorry, Jimmy. I just want to I want to address everyone before we keep going. Jeff Underwood is here. Okay, I think I got everybody. If I've missed anybody, I apologize. Oh, Dave R's Guitars just popped in. Hey, buddy. So if you have questions, please put at Guitar Hack, whether the question is for me or for Broken Chains, aka Jimmy, and that way I can answer them right away. And yeah, because it's we've already got 42 people. It's hard to keep up with everyone. So yeah, please tag me. And by the way, folks, look what I got.
He's got his own shirt.
I got my Guitar Hack shirt. It finally showed up, and yeah, I'm real happy with them. They turned out great. They look great. They feel great, and it's all to raise money for cancer research. And I noticed that a few more people bought some more merchandise. Thank you all so much, and thank you all so much for the support. Okay, here's a question. Old Guy's Guitar Vlog. I so want you to try rail hammers to replace the P90s. Old Guy's Guitar Vlog. I'm not going to replace those P90s. They sound too damn good. I was rocking them yesterday, man. I had them blurring out a couple of amps. They sound too damn good. I think I found my solution. I bought an ISP decimator, and it's working nicely. So I was able to get those noisy pickups under control. Oh, Quentin James, Sylvester ordered a shirt. Okay, I don't know if I make him that small, but thanks, Quentin. Thanks, buddy.
Parakeet. Yeah. Hack, right? That's his bird.
Yeah, that's his bird. Sylvester is his bird. Okay, so so you said you were only playing an hour a day. So what you're telling me is that 2 years ago you were just kind of a bedroom player, kind of just picking up when you had time, type of thing, or?
Yeah, I in my old house I had a basement, and I didn't have really much of amps. I still have my Randall half stack, so I would plug in and just play a quick, you know, Enter Sandman riff and call it a day. So
right.
In the 90s, I was obsessed with the guitar. Joined a rock band then.
Oh, okay, all right.
Then after that, I got a real job, which I told you what I did before.
Right.
Then it kind of just, you know, fizzled out. I was always getting Guitar World and you know, going to Sam Nash and, you know, playing, but not with people. And then YouTube wasn't around. So I think I did something on YouTube as soon as I met that drummer. So we got 5 songs together, and I did like my first video ever. I don't remember what song it was, maybe something from Nirvana. And I sent it to him. I'm like, well, this is, you know, the video that I did. So, you know we could play it. And then after that, I was so hooked that every time we came up with a song idea, I would cover it on videotape first, send it to the band and say, this is the way I'm going to play it. You know, so now if you want to learn your bass lines the way I'm doing it, you know, vice versa. So that's what started the whole YouTube craze of doing hundreds of cover songs.
Yeah, well, the first time I saw you was that. It was just all, you know, like the way you shot it, you're looking at the guitar, and you're saying, you know, and you covered we're covering a song. And I know you like the Cult because you covered a Cult song.
Yeah, right.
You know, and you were like nailing it, man, note for note. Actually, I got a question about that. Did you get any copyright claims on those songs? Oh, I think we lost you again.
No. Oh,
Oh, there you
hello.
go. You're back. I was just going to
Um,
ask you, did you get any copyright on those songs?
I always get copyrights, but I look the song up to see if YouTube permits you to play it. So
Right.
they have a search engine. If you put in War Pigs, for instance, it either says that you are permitted to cover, but you can't monetize,
Right.
or it will say use of this recording or cover is strictly prohibited. So I did a Cyndi Lauper song where they gave me permission to do a cover, and then 6 months later, it was gone. It was still in my personal file, but it wasn't.
They took it down.
Yeah, because
Wow.
sometimes the record company, I guess, has a new list or something. But there are a lot of bands. The Cult is one of them. Usually, if I do a cover song, I won't do it right to the record. I'll do it to like a live clip because it's not the album. It's, a bootleg concert, and I can try and change it around and make it my own. So that's one way that I like to do covers instead of doing right to the CD and playing. If you want to hear the CD, just buy it.
Yeah.
So, I'll pick either backing tracks with vocals or a lot of live stuff. And I have it's a lot of fun to do it. But
Well, I know yeah, it is fun. I mean, even like I was saying earlier, like I'm trying to learn Tie Your Mother Down, and I'm playing along with Queen. It's
right.
just like, this is cool.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, it's just
Yep.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Time Has Been Kind is here. Hey man, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Okay, well, Stafford's Music Studio. Hey buddy. Brian Stewart. Hey man, nice to see you. So again, if anyone's got questions for Broken Chains, please address them at Guitar Hack. Because Michael Rendon, hey man, yeah, please address them. Oh, Michael Bishop too, hey man, nice to see you. Please address them at Guitar Hack, then I can see them. I can see them easier. Yeah, like I posted a video. Yeah, this will freak you out. I posted a video yesterday, and it was a premiere, right? As
Yep.
soon as I uploaded it, immediately copyright claim. It hadn't
But
even aired yet. Immediately.
oh yeah, but that doesn't. You can't lose your channel for that.
No, no, it's a copyright claim. No, I know what you're saying.
Uh,
There's a strike and then there's a claim. The claim is if
yeah,
there's money made, they get, which is fine because they're gonna starve.
and not only that, I certainly don't have 1,000 subscribers, so I'm not making these songs for the money.
Exactly.
I'm making these songs for my own enjoyment.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
It's more fun than watching a TV show. So if I want to try anything that I hear on the radio, I just give it a shot. So. And then if the band wants to do it, it's even better because I already learned the song.
Okay, we got a question for you, Jimmy. Denny Allen, Labriola, I hope I'm saying your name, and welcome, Denny Allen. He's saying, ask Broken Chains if he uses the same gauge strings on all his guitars.
I don't, and Dave Nesdall was the one that kind of gave me advice on what string gauge to use. So almost every single Floyd Rose guitar, I use 9-gauge.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using D'Addario 9s, and I recently switched to pink Ernie balls.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's a Les Paul or has, the Les Paul style bridge, I'm using 10s.
Okay. And how are you, like, are you comfortable with playing 9s and 10s? We lost you again. Oh, you're back.
Okay. I've used 9 since I was, 16 because you went into the music store and the guy said, what do you metal? So I started heavier gauge. I have one guitar that I bought used. It's a red Schecter, and that came with 11s, and I never changed them because if I'm going to do something that's, drop D or something, the 11s just seem to work. So it's, mainly just 9 and 10s.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if we got any. Just wanted to welcome a few more people popped in. Braxel, how are you? Nice to see you. RJ the Mad One, hey man. Okay, I hope I'm not missing anyone. Hello again, Jamal. So let's get into that because I'm sure everyone is wondering how you started accumulating. Oh, Pork Chop SRV, how are you, man? How you started accumulating those your collection there. So you were mentioning a few names. So what? Well, let's start with that then. Like, what was your first?
The first guitar I ever owned was a Squire black Strat with a white pickguard and an all maple neck that my parents bought me in 1987. It was 3 singles, and I didn't know what I was doing. I had a 15-watt amp, and my sister played acoustic 12-string in the church group. So she was a great singer and guitar player, and I wanted her to teach me. But as older sisters are, she just never had the chance to because she was busy with her friends and life. So I started buying guitar magazines and reading, and then I found out with this number system, you could put your finger on a string and and a fret, and I was like, this is too good to be true. So if you want to play the first chord for Iron Man, you put your hands this way. So that little black Strat didn't have enough gain for the so-called heavy metal that I was going to play, and couldn't even play a chord yet. So the next guitar, I sold the black Strat to a friend who actually hung it up in his garage and spray painted the entire thing gold with bicycle paint. The neck, the strings, everything on the guitar. He hung
Why not? Sure.
And painted it. So, but the next guitar was a black USA ST3, 1987, that I got in Sam Ash. I think it was $650 possibly.
Wow, that's a lot for them, man.
Yeah, so that guitar I still have to this day, but I stripped the paint when I saw Nuno Betancourt with his
Washburn, yeah.
Washburn. So I was like, wow, I need one of those, but I don't have the money. So I started stripping the paint every day after school and purchased the Warmouth neck out of their paper catalog. And I had no idea what I was writing down on this thing.
Right.
So I just knew it had to be a reversed headstock. And I think I put down what body I had. So they kind of figured it out, but it fit like a charm. And I still have it. I still play it. And it's one of my favorite guitars. But that's the second guitar that I ever owned.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. And like, where is that the one I'm seeing there on the right? Because it looks like one with paint missing.
I have 5 naturals. I'm really into the naturals. It's this one.
Oh, that's nice, man.
So everything was black. You can actually see the cavity is still black. And, at the time, I didn't really know much about pickups, but Nuno has 2 humbuckers. But, I did what I could. I added this detuner much later. But this has BC Rich put the original edge on their guitars back in the 80s. So this one has an original edge trem, which is, some Ibanez people swear that it's better than anything on earth. And I really like the edge. And then, that's the reversed Warmouth. It's kind of like a baseball bat.
Yeah, it looks big.
It's big, it's oiled, and this has a DiMarzio Evolution. didn't even know what an Evolution is until someone said, "Oh, get an Evolution. Steve Vai has one."
Steve Vai, yeah, I was going to say it's a Steve Vai pickup.
I bought it cold, and then when I put it in, I was like, "Man, this pickup is incredible." And half the pickups I have are either JBs or Evolutions to this day, if I swap.
We got Terry's in the house. Hey, Terry, nice to see you. BB Ninja, if I haven't said hello, hello. If anyone's got questions for Broken Chains, please address them at Guitar Hack, because Jimmy's not looking at the chat, but I have it here in my hands. So if you have any questions. So, like, for you, when did you start, like, actually amassing that collection of yours? Was that a lot of, like, buying and selling? Like, how did that come about?
Well, I had the BC Rich was the second guitar. The third guitar was a 1986 Les Paul Standard in Cherry Sunburst.
Oh, perfect.
So I was in the 11th grade, just talking to another employee who was much older. He was in his 30s and I was a teenager. So he said, "Yeah, I bought a guitar," or "My wife bought me a guitar. I never even opened the case or played a lick because it was a waste. You know, it was an impulse purchase.
Right.
If you want it, I know you play. I'll bring it to work and you can, you know, you can have it. But, you know, it's some Gibson guitar and I want $400 for it."
Oh, my God.
So I go home and I tell my parents, and they agreed. They're like, "You know, we'll lend you the money, but you have to use some of your, you know, communion money or something like that." So I bring the cash I worked in Modell's, was the name of the store. I bring the cash with me. He brings the guitar. His name was Don, a super nice guy. It wasn't a scam. You know, he was a married guy.
Yeah.
He opens the case, and my nitwit friend standing next to me looks at the guitar and says, "That guitar is worth about $1,000. So I'm like, "You freaking idiot. You know, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
So Don's like, "Listen, we agreed on 400. I know you're gonna play it, and I can just tell that, you know, you really love this instrument and the hobby, and
oh, that's nice, man."
So that was my second that I owned, because the other Fender, the Squire, got spray painted. So now I had two, and the Les Paul was just like a piece of furniture, but I didn't really know anything. To me, it was a $400 guitar.
Wow.
And then it just started snowballing after that. I think, well, I became a bouncer because I played football in college too. So I was bouncing on the weekends, and I was getting about $200 a night for just hanging out in a bar. And, you know, it started adding up. So I used the money to buy guitars. And then the most I had before this was 10. And then in 2016, I just went crazy. But deals that people were selling their guitars for, I was like, I can't not pass up on this guitar. It's worth $1,000. The guy wants, you know, $500 for it.
Yeah.
You know, and even to this day, there's something I saw yesterday. People just, you know, it's not as easy to sell as you think, and it's a buyer's market, and, you know, you can get an amazing guitar for like $600, and I think this guy that wanted $1,000 is going to even go lower because he's getting desperate. You know,
what guitar is that? What is it?
It looks like Mick Mars's Fender, the beat up one. With the Floyd.
Right.
It's actually made by a Canadian guy, I think. Palermo Guitars. I don't know if you heard of them.
No.
But they're in Canada, Palermo, and they make kind of like tributes. So they make a Randy Rhoads, they make a Mick Mars, I think they make a Striped, and they're top-notch instruments made in-house. They're not sourced.
Right.
So we'll see. But I have 3 on the wall that I want to dump before I get that, because I'll be sleeping, you know, on the front lawn if something else comes here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just want to say hello to I'm Sucking Wind. He's here. Nice to see you, buddy. Oh, okay, here's a question for you. Is that an actual... Okay, RJ Mad One is asking, is that an actual J Frog skull guitar or a copy?
It's a copy. There were only 3 in the world, and they were made by J Frog to George. So that was an obsession I had my entire life. I saw the Nightmare on Elm Street video, and It's Not Love, a couple other Dokken videos. So I bought a really bad copy from some company called X-Ray, and it was pretty expensive. You know, it was about a $1,000 guitar. And then when I got it, I was like, you know, it's not really what George plays. So I sold it and got the second one to my collection, which also was kind of not what George plays either.
Mm-hmm.
So I sourced out this guy, Craig, who actually made George's guitar for the Dokken tour with permission from J Frog. And
Wow.
ESP obviously doesn't care because George is their #1 artist. So Craig and Christopher Woods worked together as a team, and they built me. I think there were 3 in the world. You know, when they first created this guitar, it was called the HD Bones. After I acquired mine, they stepped it up a little bit more and made an OG Bones, which is, you know, it's like completely to George's, you know, from the old days, you know, what it would look like today. So they took his guitar in 2018 and they matched it to what they're making. Mine is like the guitar that Frog gave him on the video shoot. So mine is like brand new. I'll pull that off the wall. But it's not real because Frog only made 3, possibly 4. And, you know, everyone's like, that's not a real J Frog. Yeah, no kidding, because the ones that say J Frog were from this guy, Ed Roman. And, you know, that's a whole nother story.
Well, got another question here. Paul Lou's asking, where do you find the list of covers that are allowed on YouTube?
You just go, well, there's the Skull and Bones.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in real life, you would, you know, it's just crazy, this guitar. But I think what I do is once I receive a copyright notice on my song, if you click the blue highlighted copyright notice, it brings you to another page that says, look up millions of songs on YouTube to use for your videos. So you just type in whatever you want to play. And if you put in, you know, For Those About to Rock, it comes up and you click on it and it says, this song can a cover. And then the top might say, this song cannot be used. You know, you have no permission to use the song. So that's how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
If he comments on one of my videos, which he always does, he's a great friend, I could just put the link in and he'll go to it directly.
There you go. Michael B., hey, man. Nice to see you. Okay, Terry is saying, is talking about that company that you're mentioning, Palermo. This Palermo is, I think, by Mike's Music, somewhere here in Ontario in the southern part of the province. Okay.
Yeah, they have a bunch of YouTube videos. He puts Palermo on the headstock, but he made a Randy Rhoads that was, you know, dead accurate. But instead of saying Gibson, it says Palermo, and you know, it's beautiful. But some people don't want, you know, they want to have Gibson on it at all costs.
Yeah, well, I unfortunately fall under that crap.
I mean, I have about, I think, 8 or 9 guitars where I actually shaved all the headstocks so people want to know what it is. I saw Scotty Hill from Skid Row used to do that in the 80s. And almost all of his guitars had no logos on them. Same with Richie Sambora and John. They were playing these custom guitars with no logo. It didn't say Kramer. It didn't say anything.
Really?
And I was like, wow, that's what I want to do, because it gets people thinking, and then you don't have to go through these debates about that's a piece of junk. And, you know, I'd rather people not knowing what it is, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you. James Severin, hey, man, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Okay, so Old Guy's Guitar Vlog is asking who makes the skull guitar you're holding, but I think you just answered that.
A guy, Craig Rundles and Christopher Woods made this. So Craig Rundles is on, they're both on Facebook, but Christopher is not making the George Lynch Skull and Bones anymore. Craig is making them with George, and they're selling them as the OG Bones. So it's a little different. It's a different color, and they did some minute changes to the one that I'm holding. But I already acquired this, and, you know, I didn't need to get another one. And then George makes his own Mr. Scary models, but those bodies are the same bodies as this, and that's from Chris Woods. So Chris Woods makes these bodies in his shop, ships the body to George, and then George does his finger painting on him or whatever he does and sells them for, you know, a lot of bread.
Okay, so Terry just posted the link for Palermo guitars if anyone is interested.
Yeah, Palermo, they have a nice shop, and it seems like they make quality guitars.
Well, he says they're in Thornhill. That's
not
too, yeah, they're actually not too far from where I am. Hey, Six String Planet is here. How are you, man? How's it going, Ed? Yeah, so do you play that guitar? Like, is that guitar comfortable to play? Because it seems like that whole production would get in their way.
No, it's well, it must weigh about close to 11 pounds, but you know, I'm 6'3", and it doesn't seem that heavy to me. It's just not an everyday guitar because everyone wants you to play Dokken songs, but I have a list of all the songs on my channel, and it's in the playlist. I think it's, you know, George Lynch Skull and Bones guitar songs. So I might have even done a Tiffany cover. I think We're Alone Now using that. You know? So yeah, I'll play anything on it. It just, whatever the mood is, you know, if it's Halloween, I think I did Man Behind the Mask with that. You know, so it depends what the tune is. And I try to go through this whole line. So if there's a new day and a new video, I'm grabbing something off the rack. If I don't play it, I get rid of it.
It's good. So you play them all. They're not furniture. That's important, man.
Yeah, I have to play them. And if it just, you know, usually if it doesn't feel right, then I'll have it set up. And if it still doesn't feel right, then it's gone, you know?
I got a question for you, but before I do that, I want to welcome JJK, House of Harleys, buddy. How are you? And JJ says, if a guitar sounds and plays good, who cares what's on the headstock? That's exactly right.
Yep.
Janice has a question for you. How many guitars does he have there? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, there's 35. So
35. So yeah, show everybody, because I'm sure everybody'd like to have a look. You could do a walk around. Let me present you, first of all. Here, I'm going to present you.
All right.
There we go.
It's in selfie mode, so hopefully you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just move back a little bit. So I bought these racks, they're Diamond Life guitar racks. And, you know, when I moved into the new house, I had to take over a room, and luckily my wife said I could. So this is supposed to be, you know, the office with the big desk and fancy chair, but instead I made it into my room, which I'm very fortunate to have. So that's the magic number. It can't increase because I'm sure they're counted. And if there's a 36 that pops up, you know, I'm going to get in trouble. Plus, I like these, you know, the action figures.
Well,
You
hang
know,
on. Let me see those Kiss dolls.
yeah, I have.
What series is that?
I'm trying to hold it in selfie mode so I could see it. But those are the reissued ones all the way in the back. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, I can see them in the back. I don't think I've seen those.
They're the original ones from Mego that got reintroduced.
Oh, man. If
Yeah,
those are the original Mego from the 70s, those are worth a fair bit of money.
no, but those are the reintroduced ones. Out with them and basically made the same ones from the 70s, but made them in like 2012, possibly.
Wow. You know, I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, I think, man, I don't know the company offhand because I took them out of the boxes. But if you Google 8-inch Kiss action figures, you'll go right to it. They made them for almost every single album. With new clothing and stuff, but
Oh, I've got a Love Gun, Alive, Creatures of the Night, and then I got the old Psycho Circus ones. Those are the series that I've got. As I got 4 of them.
Are those the McFarlane ones, or you have the ones?
I'm talking about the McFarlanes.
Okay, yeah, because I have those too. I can't fit it in here, and I wasn't permitted to. But I have the 3-foot tall ones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
So that's from the Destroyer.
Destroyer, yeah.
Yeah. Here's an Ozzy one. Where's that? I don't know if you could see it. But they made an Ozzy doll real close too.
Right. I see that.
And he's not 3 feet tall, but the Kiss ones are. But they're in the garage.
Hang on. Let's. Oh, hey, Ben Coombs is here, and Ben Coombs got home safe. Glad to have you back, buddy.
Goodness, Ben.
Glad to have you back, man.
That was some journey.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I know, eh? So
It's
Charlie
funny.
S is in the house as well. Charlie S, how are you, man?
When people aren't shy and they post stuff on Facebook, you know, about their trips, you know, you're following them like you're almost in the car with them.
Yeah.
So it's a nice thing to you know, to follow people and
Yeah.
see
Old Guy's Guitar Vlog. Guitar Hack is at the Kiss stuff from the Flying Circus. No, you mean Psycho Circus. No, it's not. We were just talking about that old guy. Lars Guitar is here. Hey, buddy. Nice to see you. Marsman is here. We got 53 people watching, man. Thank you all so much for popping in. This is fantastic. Everybody's welcoming Ben back. Yeah, glad to have you back, man. Okay. Yeah, please. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, thumbs up, folks. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I put a link to Broken Chains channel too. I've got a card for Broken Chains if you're not subscribed to him as well. Hey, Sean Marie, nice to see you. Yeah, so again, if anyone's got any questions for Broken Chains, Jimmy, he's not looking at the chat, so please address them at Guitar Hack. So I got to ask you this. I mean, you say you play them all, which is nice to hear that they all get played. But is there okay, if you were to, I know, ask you to pick one, I know it's hard. But if I ask you to pick like your 3 top, which would be like your 3 go-tos of those 35?
Well, for the first gig, it's gonna be my Charvel 2016 Pro Mod in the Pacific Ocean. It stays in tune. The neck is just amazing, and it's got a JB 4 and I think another JB in the front. I forget, but that one is definitely being played. There is a unfinished one that is right where my finger is.
Yeah.
That is a guitar from Germany called the Shadow, and they made those in the 90s, late 80s, 90s. That's definitely coming with me. What's cool about that, it has the Guthrie system where it has a shallow Floyd Rose with fine tuners, but it has locking tuner pegs and not a lock nut. So it stays in tune, but if you want to go to D, you don't have to use the Allen wrench.
Right.
So you can go to D, but it still has a Floyd on it. And it's just a great benefit, you know, when you're going to do a song that you have to have just the 6th string in D, or you get one of those D tuners. So that would go with me. And then I would probably bring, man, it's a tough decision because I have so many, but I think I would go with.
I gave you 3.
Yeah, 3. So I would go with the Black Stealth Wolfgang as the 3rd choice. I recently got that Wolfgang, and the neck is incredible. It stays in tune. It looks really cool, you know, and you can play that for any style of music, which is the beauty of owning a Wolfgang. If you own a Striped or if you own a Bones, you know, they want you to play Van Halen and Dokken. But with the Wolfgang, you can play Nirvana or you can play Van Halen or pretty much anything, you know?
Yeah. There's a question in here from Denny. He's saying he notices that you don't have any acoustics hanging. Does that mean you don't own any acoustics?
Well, no, I have one.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah.
It's somewhere.
Directly behind you.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So it's next to that black Kirk Hammett. But who I think Ash's home signature brand. And it was cheap. It was like $250. I got it in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only acoustic guitar that I own. I have one bass also. I have a Squire. But of course, with the Squire, I shaved down that headstock, so it's just generic. And, you know, it looks badass without any print on the headstock. It's just something that I was always so, you know, fascinated with. I think even Vi's, you know, Meanie had no writing on the headstock, the Green Machine or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sucking wind wants your 3 pickup Gibson, but that is not what it appears.
Yeah, that is basically a souvenir. It's an Ace Frehley. It's a very good copy, and I do like, you know, replicas and fakes, but they're mainly for novelty. Would I recommend them? I would, but you have to do a lot of work with them, and that just fell on my lap. So being a huge Kiss fan, and I didn't want to spend $8,000 on a signature Ace Frehley, I couldn't pass that up. You know?
Yeah, so Brian Stewart is asking if that Epi model is the 1st or the 2nd run. So it's not an Epi, it's a Gibson.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a chibi from China. I got it in the U.S. by someone that went through the whole process, and this was not for him because he realized that he's got an Ace Frehley Les Paul, and now he wants to play a Zeppelin song, and it doesn't look right. So he gave it to me, being the huge Kiss fan. And if the electronics in that never worked again, I'd rather own that than a Kiss poster. It's just so cool to look at, you know?
You know, it's funny you say that, because actually somebody was asking me the other day, you know, because I about Kiss guitars, and I've owned a Paul Stanley. Remember when Paul Stanley was playing Washburns?
Yeah.
That was Reunion Tour.
Right.
In like 96, 97. He went to Washburn.
It was like an Iceman Washburn, wasn't it?
It was basically an Iceman, yeah. Right, very similar. And then it had the star bridge piece, tailpiece, I should say. Anyways, I had one of them. not the top of the line one, but
Right.
it was still a decent guitar, and I bought it. And one of my rules is kind of what you're saying is I won't buy a guitar unless I'll gig with it. So I bought that guitar and I owned it for a while. I think I had it for about a year or so, and I got it set up and it played okay. It wasn't great, but it played okay and all that. But it got to a point where I'm looking at this thing. It's like I am never going to take this thing to a show. Never, right?
Right.
For for
Yeah.
one, it's like I got the opposite problem to you. Like you're a tall guy, I'm a short guy, and that body is
Yeah.
really really big, right?
Right.
So you know what I mean? So kind of like it's too big for my height. So it would look silly, and it's this big massive body, and people are gonna I mean it's a Paul Stanley guitar, like right off the bat they're gonna expect you to break in a love gun or something. So anyway, so
Exactly.
I sold it, and funny enough, you know who I sold it to? You're gonna laugh. I posted it, and it sat like it wasn't selling for the longest time, and then I got a call, and the guy that I sold it to, funny enough, was a guy playing Paul Stanley in a Kiss cover band.
Well, a lot of the buying the Chinese Les Pauls, because if you new new tuners and you're Ace Frehley in makeup, well, now you look the part and you can get it to play decent, but you have to invest some cash.
Yeah,
So yeah, these cover guys definitely have them, and they're also great guitarists. But
yeah.
part, and that's what they're doing.
Well, some of them are.
So
I've seen some pretty horrible Kiss cover bands, like
yeah,
horrible. These
you
guys
know,
can't play, can't sing. I'm like,
right?
my
You
God,
have
just because you got makeup on, you think no one's gonna notice that?
Paul's voice, then you can't be in a cover band. And same with Gene, and all four of them are unique. So
Yeah, yeah.
and then if
Uh,
if you're overweight and you're Paul
yeah,
Stanley,
that's the other problem. The guy that I sold it to was fatter than me.
if he's Gene, he might get away with it. But if you're Paul,
Not Paul. You got to
you
be
know,
ripped.
yeah.
Showman Blues is saying he subscribed to you. He says you got some great clips of yourself playing. So
Oh, thank you,
yeah. Hey,
Showman.
Blackjack. Blackjack is here. Witty guitar solo. Hey man, how are you? Thanks everybody for popping in. We got 51 people watching. Yeah. So thanks everybody for popping in. Paul Stanley. Are you going to the End of the Road tour?
Metallica came to town, and I saw them in 1986, and then I saw them about 5 times after. I've seen Kiss about 7 times, and if the opportunity comes and I can just get one ticket and go, I will. But it's not something that I really care about.
Yeah.
I'll be a fan for life, and but to sit in the arena and I don't know, just pretend that it's one of those. You know how it is.
No, I totally get it. I mean,
Um,
I'm going because I'm a complete idiot.
well, my buddy Steve, the singer, he's a huge concert guy. So I mean, I don't even care about spending the money. I don't want to spend more than $100. But if it's 250, I'm not going.
Yeah. Well, the tickets for Kiss, at least in Canadian money, they were not 250, but more than 100. But anyway,
Yeah, $100 to go see them. That's fine.
yeah, no, you won't get in for $100.
Yeah. Well, then I'm not going.
Yeah, and you know what? Like I said, like an idiot, I'm going because I mean, they haven't really done it for me since probably the reunion tour.
Right.
Even Psycho Circus was a little shaky, right? The last time I saw Kiss, that Kiss was good. Mind you, it was already with Tommy Thayer and whatever, but I was focusing more on Paul because he could actually still sing. As I saw them at Cobo Hall in Detroit when they did when they played there a couple of times before they shut Cobo Hall down, and that's the last time Paul could sing, and that was probably, oh man, I don't know what year that was, but that was like in the 2011 or 12. And I mean, his voice is totally gone now. Like, I'm gonna go there just out of curiosity to see the new stage, and I got no. I'm not expecting much. Let's put it that way.
Well, there was a clickbait headline from Blabbermouth today that said that Ace and Peter are welcome to play or something like that. But, you know, something, if you read the article, it's not confirmed. And then Gene, I think, was quoted that saying he would never permit them to play an entire set, you know, if hell froze over, because they can't do it. So it's a bizarre article. Blabbermouth has it, so if you go on, you'll read it, because I could be saying the wrong thing. But, you know, they got Eric and they got Tommy. If I was Gene, I mean, you have to think about what goes on in his mind. If I was Gene, I probably would have made a new costume for Eric and for Tommy, because the fans accepted Vinnie Vincent's costume. And
that's an ongoing argument. They should just made up new characters. Yeah. Blackjack is asking who my guest is. My guest, Blackjack, is Jimmy, better known as Broken Chains. He's got a YouTube channel. He's a great guitar player. He's got some really good content. I've got his link in my cards. You should subscribe to Broken Chains. I might as well say now. I say it during every show at some point. So, folks, again, thank you all so much for popping in. If you haven't subbed to everyone in the chat and that's on the chat right now, please do. We've got some fantastic people here. We got some great content. Let's sub everyone. Let's keep it growing. Let's keep it all positive. And onward and upward, man. Okay, we just cracked an hour. So are you okay going another few minutes?
Wow, it's 8 o'clock. Yeah, that's fine. Another 10 minutes or 5, you know, whatever.
Okay, we'll go for a few more minutes, and we'll wrap it up here soon. So if anyone's got any last minute questions for Broken Chains or myself, the Guitar Hack, please put at Guitar Hack, because Jimmy hasn't got access to the chat, and I do, so I can forward those questions.
One thing I must say is that you're pretty new to being a live host.
Yeah.
And you have to be one of the best live hosts that I've seen.
Wow. Thank you.
Out of the channels that I watch, because it's 100% real, you know? It's like hanging out with my buddy and shooting the breeze and talking music and drinking a few beers, you know? So
yeah,
you're doing a great job.
Well, really I appreciate that. But, you know, it's an easy thing to do. It's the easiest thing in the world, because usually when you're trying to start a conversation, it's like, well, I don't know what that person is interested in and this and that. But all that sort of removed, because immediately I know you're into the same stuff as me, right? So it's right off the bat, you got this common ground. Like, I can start a conversation with a guitar player, no problem.
Oh, yeah. And plus you have a background. So if you're, you know, want to say, oh, what's that? What's that? You know, if I was sitting on the couch and I had a picture of the Mona Lisa behind me, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, don't ask me about the Mona Lisa.
That's why I love Dave when he's live. He's got that wall of, you know, Van Halen guitars behind him.
Yeah. Oh, BV Ninja is saying to tell you that BV says hello.
Hey, BV, my man.
Oh, Todd Forrest got a good question. Where did your name, where did Broken Chains, where did that name come from?
I'm going to say in 92, I got my first Tascam 4-track cassette deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little drum machine that I played the beat with my fingers. And then I got that Squire bass and started doing covers on cassette. So I needed a name for my fake band, which was only me. And to Ozzy from Blizzard of Oz, if you listen to the Steal Away the Night song, he has a lyric in there that says Broken Chains something. And oh, Broken Chains. And then Dio had a song that says When the Chains Were On, and then Dokken had Breaking the Chains. So I'm like, Broken Chains sounds metal enough and, you know, catchy enough that I used it as a fake band in the 90s. And then when you needed to do something for YouTube, because I didn't want to put my real name, so I chose that one.
Yeah, no, that's a good name, man. Lars Guitar is asking me if I have a different channel for the band that my wife is in. The band, so Lars, that band is called Rebel Charm. So there is a YouTube channel, Rebel Charm. You might want to maybe just Google that. Oh, here comes my coffee. Thank you. Show everybody your Guitar Hack shirt, Miranda. Guitar Hack. That's my daughter. Yeah, we just got our shirts yesterday, so
Nice.
we're all wearing the gear today. Yeah, so Lars Guitar, if you go on YouTube and do a search on Rebel Charm, and you should find the band. Blackjack is asking, are all the guitars behind him his? Yeah, they are, Blackjack. Those are all Broken Chains guitars.
I have a question for you, Hack.
Sure.
I've noticed that people put rubber bands behind their nut on Fender Strats. Have you ever tried that? And does it get the intonation and the string height all screwy? Or maybe
rubber band behind the nut.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I think that's more of just to keep the strings quiet. Like, I think it's more of a...
I know they have the fret wraps that they put on.
Yeah, or maybe...
I see guys playing on YouTube with rubber bands actually, you know, next to the tuning pegs where the string tree would be. So I was thinking of doing it to one of my guitars.
Right. I've never done that.
But I don't know if it affects, you know, if now your intonation is messed up because you're putting more pressure on it or what, you know?
Oh, Jason Wade is saying something. This is for you. We were just talking about going to see the Kiss show. He's saying that Kiss is coming to outside venue called PNC Pavilion. Do you know that?
Yeah, I do. You could buy lawn chair tickets there
for $39.50.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so you're aware of that.
I had tickets to go see Priest. It was going to be my first concert in this new state, and then we got hit with a hurricane.
Oh shit!
The show went on, but the guy I was going to go with got spooked, and I didn't want to go alone, so I never made it there. But it's definitely something I would want to go to, and even meet Jason at a show. You know.
There you go, Jason.
Yeah.
You guys can meet up. Okay. Shauna Marie Sinks, thanks, excellent show. Yeah, thank you so much, Shauna. Appreciate that. Yeah, my wife. Not just because I'm married to her, but she's the best singer I know. Hutch from BA. How are you? Nice to see you, my friend. The new guitarist. How's it going? Okay, I'm just catching up here. A lot of things flew by. Jack Daniels, 10101. Hey, man. How much more rock and roll is watching concert during a hurricane? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, Dave R's guitar. Okay, so he's saying that the rubber band thing is to keep the sympathetic vibrations down. So that's what I was thinking. It was more of a noise thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess if maybe, you know, just so that everything is like you're only hearing the notes that you're playing and you're not getting that extra sound up there. So which is the same idea with those raps, isn't it? Right? It's just
I know the raps, yeah, they're using those, but they're not playing the first fret because it's on the first fret, so you can't do a chord with it there. But the rubber band thing goes past the nut, so you could actually, you know, do a chord.
Yeah, well, Pork Chop SRV is saying the same thing. It's a cheap noise dampener. So yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I've never done that. The odd time I'll do the bend behind the nut because I play a Les Paul, and I'll do the bend behind the nut the odd time. And you always take, especially with the Les Paul, And I usually, typically, it's the G string. So you always take a bit of a chance there, right? Because you
Right.
could have the G string right out of tune. So I
Oh,
usually save that for the end of the song. Okay. At least Glenn Spectre says to muffle your strings at the head. Okay. Rick Hefner's saying, Glenn Spectre says to muffle your strings at the headstock. Okay. Led Zeppelin to one more. Okay, Brian Stewart wants Led Zeppelin tour again. Yeah, don't we all, brother?
yeah. And
Blackjack going to Iron Maiden in August. Yeah, I've never seen Iron Maiden.
oh
Surprisingly,
man,
I love Iron Maiden too. I've never seen them live.
I saw the Live After Death World Slavery Tour.
Right.
It was for Power Slave.
Mm-hmm.
So I forget what year it was, but I think I was in the 9th grade. And the best part of it was they came out with that double album. So it was the tour that I saw. So now I had a souvenir for the rest of my life. And every time I listen to it, I remember exactly that show and, who I went with. And I think Accept opened up for them. It was probably the Balls for the Walls or something. But
Accept open for everybody back then.
yeah, it was awesome.
I've seen them open for Kiss. I've seen them open for Motley Crue.
Yeah.
They're good, man. Udo, I think his name was Udo, the singer. The really
Udo
guy.
Dirk Schneider.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Balls to the Walls. That was I love that. That actually they had two really good records. One was the one that had Balls to the Walls on it, and then there was a record that I think it was the one that came out previous to that. Those two records with Udo singing are actually really, really good. They had some great songs, those guys.
And their guitar player, Wolf Hoffman, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is awesome, man.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He plays a Gibson V, I believe.
Yes, yeah, he was playing the V, yeah.
But that's funny because that band I only know 2 people in, and I think it's a 5-piece band. So it's some bands every member of the band by heart, and other bands either one guy or 2 guys.
There you go, Pork Chop SRB, yeah, Princess of the Dawn, yeah. That's a good tune, man. They had some really good tunes. Yeah, like Judas Priest. I've seen Judas Priest. It's funny. I didn't see them back in the day because, like, when Defender, not Defender, was it? No, wait a minute. Screaming for Vengeance record.
Right. And
British. I didn't see them in that period. I've actually seen them more afterwards. In the last 2 or 3 years, well, maybe 5 years. I've seen them already. I think 2 or 3 times. So I've never seen them with KK Downing. I've only seen them with Richie Faulkner.
Oh.
And the last 2 records they put out are incredibly good, man.
They are.
They're I would put them almost at the same level as Screaming for Vengeance. Not quite, but they're pretty damn good. They're putting out great stuff. And Rob Halford live can still crush it.
Oh, he can. And he's close to 70, I believe. But, with Priest and with new records, I'm not working anymore. So I was sitting in a car for 12 hours and I had endless music. So now if I get a new CD, I don't really listen to just music anymore because I'd rather watch YouTube and watch, maybe videos and stuff. But, new music is tough. You got to really give it a shot to like it. Alice in Chains put out a new record in 2018, and it took me 5 spins until I'm like, this is pretty damn good.
Yeah, the last CD I bought, of course, was Ace Frehley's.
Oh, he put out a new one recently, didn't he?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. And what's so bizarre is YouTube will have the entire CD on in individual tracks.
That's right.
So, you can just put them in your playlist and play them at any time instead of even popping them in a CD player.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they're doing that because that's like really, it's not like Napster, but
it's basically the same idea. Because you're not downloading it.
Right. Yeah.
That's the last 2 CDs I bought was Ace Frehley, and then before that it was the Judas Priest record, which is insanely good. If you haven't listened to the last two Priest records, they're insanely good.
Yeah, no,
really good.
And I saw the second to last tour on Long Island with Richie in the band. Actually, Glenn that was Glenn's last tour, the last tour that I saw.
Yeah.
And then he left. But I walked right up to the front of the stage because where I saw him, it was, I guess, like a 2,000 person
Wow.
banquet. It was like a banquet hall. So there were no seats in the place.
That's insane.
Once you walk in, you go where you want. And I just walked right to the front. I told my friends, I'm like, you guys can hang out the bar. I'm going right in the front. I've never seen Priest in the first row and I had the opportunity. So it was awesome. I did that with Ace too, when Ace just toured the last time around for when he had that guy Richie something in the band, the other guitar player.
Oh, shit. Scarlett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a character.
Yeah, I was up close and personal when he toured I saw them with Richie Scarlett. Chris Wise was the bass player. Yeah.
Yeah, from the Cult, right?
Yeah, yeah. I saw, I was right there.
And they said his new fiance pretty much made him sober up, which I think is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Dave Ars Guitars is asking me what I think of and I'll put this to you too, Jimmy. What you think of the revised Gibson line, LP standard in 50s and 60s, no more traditionals. Go ahead. What do you think?
I'm personally not that educated on Les Pauls because the last one I owned was an 86 standard. So if I was to buy a Les Paul, it would have to be a Black Beauty. That's the only one I want. But, if they can make them more economical for people, I don't know what the prices are, but I'll let you answer that.
Well, my take on it is I like it. And from what I understand, the 50s and 60s line are basically what your traditionals were in a sense that there's no weight relief in any of that. And they're going to be accurate to both those periods. So I like that. I'm actually really considering a 60s now would be a standard. So core line 60s because I like the neck profile on the 60s better. So I'm really thinking about doing that, but I'd have to sacrifice a few instruments to get one.
For $7.99, they have a double cut junior with P90.
Oh, I know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Les Paul Jr. Yeah, and I played one, man.
TV yellow, I'd buy it.
Oh, wait a minute.
They don't make it in TV yellow, which I think it's in blue, maroon, and like a brown or something, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think we're talking about two different things. There's a Les Paul Jr. double cut.
Right.
That's what you're talking about. Okay. It comes in red, blue, and black.
Yeah, it's a double cut with two P90s in it.
No, the one I'm talking about is just one P90.
One P90. And what's the retail? Any idea?
That one in Canadian money is $7.99.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's Canadian money. So in U.S. money, that's like $1.25.
That's a nice guitar,
Mm-hmm.
It's a real Gibson. And I always wanted a double cut junior for some reason. Because of Skid Row, those guys were playing customs back in the day, and they just always appealed to me,
Well, that's the thing, right? It's the guitars that your favorite guys played in the day. Those are the ones that stick in your head. Like the first guitar I ever owned was a Cherry Burst Les Paul copy because of Ace Frehley.
Oh wow! Yep.
Yeah. But two pickups, and they were cream top. I doubt very much they were DiMarzios though, but they were double cream. So uncovered, just like Ace Frehley.
Like Hondo even made one back then, and Takai, they made a lot of those Japanese ones that looked like Aces.
Yeah, this was Univox.
Oh yeah, that's a decent brand, believe it or not.
Yeah, I wouldn't stay in tune. I didn't know anything like you. I knew nothing back then, right? So my first problem was the thing would never stay in tune, and it never entered in my head. Maybe I should just put new tuners on it.
Yeah,
that was number one. The second problem I had with it was that thing that the pickups got microphonic, like they were feeding back like crazy all the time. So I actually had them, and I paid a lot of money. I was a kid. I didn't know any better, and I took it to the store, and the guy's like, "Oh, we got to dip them in wax." So I got the pickups wax dipped, and you know what? It cut down on that, so it kind of worked. But I paid way more than I should have, and I could have done that in the backyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
You know,
know.
but you don't know nothing. You're a kid, and I don't
Yeah,
have anybody to ask because I'm the only one that's into this stuff. Right at the time, I was the oddball. I was the weird kid that wasn't, you know, into sports. I was into music, right? So,
exactly.
Brian Stewart, did you buy Originals Volume One? No, I didn't, Brian. There was a few good tunes on that. I like this cover of that Led Zeppelin song, and there was a couple of things on there, but for the most part, didn't really do it for me. Yeah, Painkiller rocks. I agree, Rick Hefner.
But
I know,
how
Brian. Yeah, Ace has a new band now. He's got Gene's backup band. Yeah, I know.
I'm getting the evil eye to shut it down because the kids need to go in the shower and get ready for bed. So I think we could continue this at another time. And
No, we can. No, we're okay. All right. No, we're good. But we've been going for like an hour and 20. So,
yeah,
anyway, I'd like to thank Broken Chains for coming on. This was awesome. Is there anything you wanted to mention to folks? We still got 46 people in here.
no, actually, the time went so fast, and I've never done a night show before because I have 3 kids that are in the next room. You wouldn't know, but you know, 3 boys are maniacs. So now that I know that they're not going to bother me, I mean, we'll just do it again because this was a great experience for me. You know, it was really fun, to tell you the truth.
Oh, cool, man. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, buddy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for popping in and
So,
checking it out. If you haven't subbed to Broken Chains, please do. I have his link in the card. If you haven't subbed to me, please do that as well. I've got the link below. I got the link on my banner, and just sub to me. It's everywhere, my link. And if you haven't liked the video, please do. And I'm of course selling merch. Okay, I got T-shirts, I got mugs, I got all kinds of stuff. Any money that is raised is going to be donated to the Canadian Cancer Society. So far, we sold, I think we sold like 31 items, which is fantastic. But the more money we raise, the better. I have the link to the merch store below as well in the description. All right. So again, thanks everybody for popping in. This was fantastic. Thanks to Jimmy again, and we'll catch you all on Thursday. I will be live on Thursday. It's just going to be a solo stream. Okay. So hope to see you all then.
awesome.
Cheers, everybody.